everybody, and welcome to Page to Frame, where in this month's book of the month, we are going to be doing Bridgerton Season 1, or in the book form called The Duke and I. Today we are going to be answering the most common questions that we found on Google, answering them as we have read the books and watched the series. And then next week we will be doing book talk. I do know that a few of you will be following us as you read along with the books. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment in the comment section. I'm Mage, and this is
Tiger. Hello, welcome to our episode today featuring the first book of Bridgerton.
Yep, and if you are on YouTube or even on Twitch, don't forget to like, subscribe for more videos on book to film adaptations. Let's get started with Bridgerton Season 1, The Duke and I.
How exciting.
The first question is kind of a simple question. It is, how many chapters are in the Bridgerton The Duke and I book?
If I remember correctly, it was 22 off the top of my head.
It has 21 chapters and 2 epilogues.
Okay, so I was close. I said 22, so 21 plus epilogues.
Yep. So now the beautiful thing about a lot of the Bridgerton kind of stuff, the main author had written another book that was like a follow-up to all of the stories of Bridgerton. So it's like a story of each individual couple in the Bridgerton line. However, I don't know if it wasn't as popular of a book or for whatever reason, she decided to take all of those little stories and put them into each book as the second epilogue.
We're a couple years down the road, so, or that's actually several years or so. Well, it's quite a while, actually.
No, yeah. And she has redone a lot of her books to have that second epilogue. For that reason, it's also the reason why, if you did read The Duke and I, the second epilogue was years into the future, and it does spoil the fourth book.
Yes, it does.
So
that's the only thing about that. So if you want to read the series completely, you may want to wait to read the last epilogue of the books because it gives things away. The future of the book.
The second question is, how many episodes does The Duke and I have? So this is referring to Bridgerton Season 1, and it has 8 episodes. On Netflix, which seems to be the average for all of the seasons. So that will be fun to have a set amount of episodes per season.
So I'm excited to talk about this one next week. And then go into the book talk because there's so much different.
Yep. Oh, this one's nothing compared to the second book and the third. Oh my god, there's so many changes.
I haven't read the books because, I watched the show first.
And then, what do you think is it about Daphne that makes men view her more as a friend rather than a marriage prospect, I guess. Yeah,
I didn't see the word, but that's what I was imagining.
Yeah. Oh, marriage material.
Marriage material. Oh, I just saw that, but marriage prospect works too. I think they picked someone else that was to what the book said. She was more of a plain kind of Jane, and in the show she was really, if you watched it, you could tell she was really pretty, and just what they said is that her personality was more of a friend. So I'm sure many people out there can understand being friend zoned. That's exactly what happened to her. So much, poor thing.
Yeah, so these are questions more related to the book, and in referrals to the book, it does state that she was not a beauty. like she is reflected in the show, that is one difference, and that a lot of people had experiences where they saw her more as a friend than they did as a prospect for marriage. So for those reasons, I believe that's why so many men saw that, is that she just happened to get friend-zoned.
By quite a few prospects that she was interested in, because, you know, back then, you want to marry up, so, in social class.
Yeah, but at the same time, you do have to take into account that the Bridgertons were, again, not related to the TV show, and we can talk about the difference in that in book talk. But in the book, they are like the second most powerful family in the town. So they wasn't really about marrying up. It was about not marrying for the Bridgerton trust fund, is kind of like what they definitely didn't want to do. And the only people that ever saw Daphne as a potential for bride were kind of gold-digging dudes, and the ones that had either equal or slightly less money than the Bridgertons would only see Daphne as a friend, which is always interesting to see. That's the second.
What were the indicators that Simon had feelings other than lust for Daphne? I mean, I want to say it, but that's going to get so into the book talk. I would have to say it actually both showed both sides of the story, both sides of views. So he said it on his own, pretty much, that there was feelings there as you were reading, because you got both sides of the story.
Yeah, so in The Duke and I, you do get both perspectives, both third-person close perspectives. What I would say would be the indicator that it was more than lust was when he would describe her like personality or how easy it was to talk around her. Things like that were bigger indicators that it wasn't just her outer appearance, but rather her personality. Okay, next question. If Daphne had not gone off into the Guardians, do you think they would have still ended up getting married?
In the gardens?
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I think it would have had to take a lot, something else that would have pushed him to get married. Because her going into the gardens and the actions that occurred is basically, and getting caught, is what drive the point of continuing on the book. So I don't think it would have took a lot more if it didn't happen that way.
So yes, I agree with Tiger, where I do not think that they would have gotten married had that incident not occurred. An agreement, the only way that they would have ended up together, as Tiger has stated, would have been something as nearly as severe as getting caught in the gardens. So if something like that had not happened, there would honestly be no reason for them to have ended up together, because of how adamant Simon was against the whole thing.
Against the whole marriage process.
Yeah. So was Daphne being manipulated into telling Simon someone had seen them that night they went into the gardens? So
wait, you said was she manipulating him?
Because remember, in the books, it is Colin who tells Daphne that one of his friends saw it. I do think he specifies which friend, but it does.
He does specify the friend.
So yeah, but if you do read it, it sounds a little sus. It sounds a little like, was he lying to her to like convince him or convince her that this was the best thing? Was the whole duel that like she really was dishonored? Like, was it Colin really like messing with her head? I don't think so. I think she was just grasping at any reason to legitimize why Simon should marry her. So
I didn't do it. I think that it was possible that someone did see them, because I mean, there were a lot of people at the party. It may have sounded sus, doesn't mean that it was, you know? It very well could have happened. It was the whole ton society that was attending these balls. So it's not that far-fetched that someone saw them.
Yep. Okay, so the next question is, do you consider Simon saying he can't have children as a lie?
Yeah, because Daphne's right. There's a difference between can't and won't.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one.
Don't you always?
Possibly. Here's the thing, is I believe that at the mental state that Simon was in when he said that, he truly believed that there was nothing in his power that would ever allow him to have children. He believed in his core essence that it would destroy him to have a child, because he spent his whole life wanting his father to not get what he's wanted, which is an heir. So when something like this embodies you completely and becomes a huge part of your personality, I truly believe that he believed he could not that he wouldn't. And it does take possibly Daphne stating that, like, to everybody else, that would be a don't want to, rather than a physical ailment of not being able to like snap him into realizing, oh, maybe she is right. I mean, I also thought I couldn't get married, and I'm married. So I think for him it wasn't a lie, because he felt it utterly and completely, and it was so much a part of his personality and how he dealt with a lot of things that I can see why he doesn't see it as a lie. I can also definitely see why Tiger and Daphne would be very adamant to say there is a difference, because there is, but I don't think he saw it as a difference.
His viewpoint of it was not that.
If Daphne had known more about sex and how babies are made, do you think their marriage would have gone the same way it did at first, or would things have been different?
I think she would have questioned it a lot sooner.
It depends on how
after maybe the first day or two, she would have questioned it. She'd be like, wait a minute here. What's going on?
Yeah, so it does depend on how like specific she would have gotten, like how much of a difference, like would she know like that what he was doing was, as they put it, you know, having the seed not plant, and if there was like any other like mannerisms that like she would have been told that would have like automatically cited. I think what would have happened was she would have found it weird the first night, and then if he had done it a second or third time, she definitely would have confronted him. She definitely would have had the fight a lot sooner than they do in the book. I think
instead of like a month later.
Yeah, I think nothing would have changed other than she would have had the fight sooner. Sorry, I'm a bit late. Had a tornado
come through, so my data and Wi-Fi's been out. Oh, I'm so sorry. You okay?
And then his thing is, it's still a little laggy, but it's better. And then
okay,
did lag.
Well, that's good. I hope you can still interact pretty well with you.
Yep. Welcome, Pickle. I know that we have stated that some of this talk will be maybe not age appropriate, but we are trying to keep it PG. At least for this.
At least PG-13, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it would be different. I think the fight just would have sped up, is the only thing.
Significantly, yeah, because I was about to say by the second day, she would have been like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Which is why when her daughter becomes of age, she straight up told her everything and drew pictures and diagrams. Which I thought was
I remember she told her everything. I don't remember about the whole pictures and diagrams thing.
Yeah, Simon makes fun of her for it. Yeah, all good. It's literally flow above my house.
It literally flew above my house. That's insane. But it didn't hit you.
I hope things are well, Pickle.
That means you must be in Tornado Alley.
Yep. So yes, we do call out. So if you do comment on either YouTube or Twitch, we will read out your comments so that everyone can know them.
Be involved, like when we post on Spotify or Amazon Music.
Yep.
I didn't do it.
I was like, what else? Okay. Next question. If Daphne had gotten pregnant from the first night, how do you think it would have changed things in their marriage?
I think that Simon would have been a lot more upset because he would have felt more trapped to have this child, and he may even resented the first child that they had. So that it may not have been as happy as a marriage as it turned out to be later on when they agree to have kids.
So I do want to agree with Tiger on that one. So in the book, it is stated that Simon actually feels pain when he finds out that his wife does not lost the kid. Like, he was disappointed, and when he felt that, he realized that he may have wanted a kid. And I feel like if she was pregnant, he would not have realized it, and he would have been too much in his anger to have really realized that it was also his choice. He just didn't know it was his choice.
And they wouldn't have been as happy, obviously. In my opinion, I mean, it would have been resented if more than anything, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. How do you feel about Simon deciding he was fine with having children so soon after him and Daphne getting back together? So again, if you read the book or even in the show, that scene where she loses her child, it is shown his heartache, his pain. So you could see at that moment they were getting back together, or he was very much considering children. He was considering the fact that he liked children and he may have wanted children. So it wasn't like he changed his mind as soon as he got back together with her. I believe, based on the book, that he decided when he took her back, when he accepted her back, he accepted everything. He accepted that, you're right, we're gonna build a family, we're gonna build a home, we're gonna be together in its complete entirety and what that means. So I am not surprised that he quickly after that. I actually would have been disappointed that he would have taken longer, if he would have taken a lot longer of them getting back together for him to change that mind. Because I feel like when he decided to take her back, he decided he wanted all of it.
He wanted the whole package, and I completely agree. And in general, if you take someone back after that big of a fight and disagreement, you should be willing to take the entirety of the conversation that y'all had, the argument that y'all had, to make that agreement to move forward.
Yep. Okay. Do you think marrying in the Renaissance era were happy ones?
Was it Renaissance? Oh,
Regency. Sorry, Regency.
I know. I was like, Renaissance? No, that doesn't sound right.
Dyslexia, gets to you. So it is the Regency era, and it's just asking, do you think weddings at that time were happy?
I would think that they were happy at that time. No, because a lot of them were arranged. Didn't necessarily by the family, by the parents, and preset before. Sometimes they even met. I don't think that all marriages were quite happy and didn't get to choose for the matter of love.
So it doesn't say if all marriages. It's just asking if you think marriages were happy or could be happy. And to play devil's advocate on this one, there is a lot of like Indian culture right now still has arranged marriages, and they are very happy to my understanding. A lot of them are married and happy even though they are arranged. You have to take into consideration the culture. Back then, women did not work. Women did not do a lot of the trade and all that stuff. So they were bred from birth to only want marriage. Now, I'm not saying that all marriages were, happy, but I do think even though all marriages were arranged, that there were happy marriages within that era because of how the culture was and how the lifestyle was. That I do think that there were plenty of, even if it wasn't like, oh, I'm in love with this person, I do think there were more of a lot of like friendship marriages rather than like true love marriages, but those could still be happy marriages.
I agree with that. I just took the context a little bit differently as overall.
I mean, I still think that the overall, like, I still think the percentage of marriages in that time were probably still like happy more than not happy. Because again, you're even like take the Featheringtons, right? Like she hated her husband, Lady Featherington. Yeah. And this is known through the show because you don't get that till book 4 in the book series.
At least in the first book.
Yeah, but at least in the first book, you don't get that. No, like I said, all this information you get in the 4th book of the Featheringtons, and you understand that Lady Featherington does not love her husband, has probably never loved her husband, but like she said, you learn to love your children. And I think a lot of
you learn to love things about them because of the things you get within the marriage, basically.
Yeah. So because of that, I do think the majority of marriages may have been happy. Again,
or at least stable.
Yeah. So I do think they were happy ones. I think there were more happy ones than not happy ones. Even though Bridgerton's prequels may make you think otherwise, like Queen Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, prequel? Well, I guess basically they kind of set it up where it's in between. It shows both.
Yeah, but the book is supposed to be like the.
Yeah, the precedence is a prequel of the show. Wait.
Which I feel like I have opinions on that, and if we do a Charlotte, because there's a book on Queen Charlotte, if we do that one, I will gladly share those opinions, because I do think a lot of the marriages that they portray in Bridgerton that are not romanticized are due to the fact that they, for plot convenience rather than actuality, personally. What was your favorite Lady Whistledown passage?
Whistledown?
Whistledown, yes.
Oh man.
I don't even have the book to even remember.
I have them, but maybe I'll just remember. Can I bookmark where I'm at?
Because I know every chapter starts with the Lady Whistledown passage.
Yeah, it does. And they're very short.
Yeah, so like they are not as I think they are not as eloquent as they are in the show.
Let me see.
So I don't have a favorite passage because I can't remember one.
Yeah, I like him. I like him better in the show, to be quite honest. Okay, that's the epilogue. Let's see. I'll read one here because I still have the book because I got the one that has the many books in it. 21. Oh, like they're really short. Like the one for chapter 21 is the Duke of Hastings is back. That was it. I mean, they're quite short in the book compared to the show, which I like a lot more. It's a lot more emphasis of like what actually would have been written. So.
No, yeah. So like the
Now this one's longer. For chapter 20. The marriage of the season seems to have gone sour. The Duchess of Hastings, formerly Miss Bridgerton, returned to London nearly 2 months ago, and this author has seen neither hide nor hair of her husband, the Duke. Rumor has it that he is not at Cleveland, where the once happy couple took their honeymoon. Indeed, this author cannot find anyone who professes to know his whereabouts. If her grace knows, she is not telling, and furthermore, one rarely has the opportunity to ask, as she has stunned the company of all except her rather large and extensive family. It is, of course, the author's place and indeed duty to speculate on the source of such rifts, but this author must confess that even she is baffled. They seem so much in love. Lady Whistledown Society. And I have it by date, which is also neat.
Yeah, so that's also really, really fun. Yeah, I don't have a favorite. Sad to say, but yes. And then, okay, so what would be something that you like better in the show? Oh, what was something you liked better in the show? Okay, so this would be a teaser for book talk. These two last questions are teasers for the book talk because they're both basically the same question, but one for the other. So what is something about the show that you like more than the book?
I think this is something that we've mentioned in general from a book to film adaptation, is that you get more story in a show or a book. It's not just one or two perspectives. Since it's a love story, it's only really our main two characters, and the Duke and I. However, in the show, you see so much more. You get so much more emphasis of characters, supply of characters.
Yes, so I agree with that. In the book, you get a close third person, a severely close third person, which means you only get the perspective of the Duke and Duchess. And in the show, you literally get so many side stories, so many characters. You follow a little bit of the older Bridgertons. So Benedict gets his story, Anthony gets his story, Eloise gets a little story, Colin and Penelope get a little story. Like, everybody gets a little
teaser
bit.
Right there. I mean,
Yep.
Teaser. What was the word? Spoiler. There we go. My bad. Wrong word.
Yep. But yeah, so for book talk, we will go into more detail on the specifics of that. But I do think, yes, you are right. That is definitely another thing that I like about the show more than the books. Their monologues. Their monologues are epic in the show.
In the show?
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, I agree. I certainly agree. It's a lot better in the show. Like I was just saying, Lady Whistledown's papers are more used in the show than in the book, because you only get the beginning of the chapter for Lady Whistledown's papers.
But I mean, even Daphne's monologue or Simon's monologue to the Queen. There's just
that's true. That wasn't in the book. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I was literally
Yep. There's a reason that is in there, and I will talk about it in book talk. So the final question is, what would something you liked better in the books than you did in the show?
Than I did in the show?
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have enjoyed where they go on that boat ride. Do you know the scenes I'm talking about? Where the family goes on the boat ride on the island?
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, yeah, I remember. That outing, you like it better?
I think it would have been neat to see in the show. I mean, of course, they added so much more in the show, but I think that would have been a good rub-off of, how possibly life could be with children, with Simon and Daphne, and them being a family all together kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a good sneak peek. I will say this, because I feel like this is a topic that I can rant on and go off on. And so I will leave it for book talk, but I loved Anthony's and Simon's relationship in the book much better.
Yeah, that's true too.
So I will leave it at that.
It showed a lot more in the book than it does in the show.
Oh no, I will get into that. I think it showed equally, with one difference. And because of that, it changes. I got opinions on that. I got opinions on a lot of things the show did. So I can't wait for book talk next week. I hope that all of you will have read Bridgerton book 1.
A few of you.
Yes.
I read it in a weekend, so that's why I was like, because I read it like a couple weeks ago now.
So yeah, luckily the thing about Bridgerton, at least the Duke and I, and what I'm reading on the following books, is that it is, I don't want to say an easy read, but it is a fluid read. So just to conclude, Bridgerton season 1, we have watched it. We have both finished it. We have finished reading the books. So for Patreons, you do get the unedited version of our lives, so that if you want to know our silliness, I think this has been our most proactive stream yet, where we don't pause as much as we have in the previous one. So I'm very proud of us. I think we did good on that.
Distracted.
So to keep that in mind, if you do want to be a Patreon, you also get movie time with that, and that just means that we get to be on Discord together while we're watching. For this month will be Bridgerton season 2. I was gonna say season 3. Let's be real, we're both gonna watch season 3. But at least for this month, it will be Bridgerton season 2 that we will be also watching in line with our book, reading season book 2, The Viscount Who Loved Me. So I do think Bridgerton season 1, The Duke and I, was very easy read. I think the problem that I'm having with Bridgerton is that I'm reading them too quickly, that I constantly want to keep listening to them because it does hook me. So I have to remind myself to spread it out to like a month, or at least the 2 weeks that I read the book. So just keeping that in mind, if you guys do want to read along, next week will be book talk. So we will be going into spoilers. We will be going into specifics. If you are a fan of the show and don't want to read the books, and
we're here for that too.
Yeah, so we're here to tell you all the differences, go into the nitty-gritty of that stuff. So it is going to be fun. All right, guys. So thank you guys for sticking around with us as long as you have. I appreciate you guys very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more book to film adaptations. If you
follow. And follow.
Yes. And if you are a book lover like us, don't be afraid to read along with us and input your point of views and thoughts, as well as if you are not a book lover and just really loved the series and don't have the time to read the books, ask any questions that you have. We have read the book for you guys, so that you don't have to. So this will be a great podcast to join.
We hope you join us for now and our future endeavors that we have planned for the rest of the year. And if you ever have suggestions, let us know. That'll probably be one of the first ones we may open with next year.
Yep. Sounds good, guys. See you guys next time. Bye.
Have a good one. We'll see you next week.